I'd like to call the Liquor Commission hearing to order. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McLeod.
Present.
Commissioner Newell.
Present.
Commissioner Gata.
Present.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Is the petitioner present? Okay, why don't you come on up and identify yourself, name and address for the record?
Hello, my name's Ned Collette. I'm the Vice President of React Presents, and my address is 777 North Michigan, Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, are there any questions from the village board or the liquor commission for the petitioner?
Not at the moment, no, thank you.
Any questions from anyone in the public? I guess not. Chair would accept a motion to release license to the petitioner.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Can you pull the board, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner McLeod.
Aye.
Commissioner Newell.
Aye.
Commissioner Gata.
Aye.
Motion carried. Chair would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. We are adjourned.
Good evening. I would like to call to order the Transportation Road Improvement Committee meeting for Monday, May 13th, 2019. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Chairperson Mills,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Stanton,
Present.
Trustee Arnett,
Present.
Trustee Newell,
Present.
Trustee Palafis, Trustee Gata,
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. I would look for a motion to recess this committee so that we can begin the village board meeting, and we will return to this after the presentation of proclamations, correct, Mayor?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are recessed.
I'd like to call the second meeting of the month of May to order. Can you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Trustee Arnett.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis. Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present. Can everybody please rise? Trustee Gady, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Yeah. I pledge allegiance Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Gata. With the leave of the board, I'd like to go to President's report for the purpose only of reading and presenting the proclamations, and then we will recess and go back to the committee meetings. So, who has the first proclamation?
I do. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed towards the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community, and whereas the Public Works Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service, coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks, make a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 25 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by the virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Friday, May 31st, 2019, as Gary Franklin Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Gary has served us with distinction for the past 25 years, and we hope we get many more years of your great service. Another 25, that worked for me. That worked for me. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Come on up, Gary. You and your wife. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks for all you do, Gary. We're going to hold you there 25 years.
Do another congratulations.
Just come on up. Go to get a picture, Gary, with you and your wife.
Can you lean the
Yeah.
top towards me a little bit?
There we go. Yeah.
Lean the top of the proclamation towards me just a little bit. Yeah, there we go.
There won't be any light.
All right, got everybody. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Great.
Thanks, Gary.
Ready for the next one?
Hey, who's next?
I am. Whereas exemplary public service employment is of vital importance in assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the Finance Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training and positive attitude toward assigned job tasks make a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 25 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department, be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims Thursday, May 23rd, 2019, as Sharon Hellstrom Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urges all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Sharon has also done a fine job, outstanding job in the Finance Department. She makes sure everybody gets paid, which is very important.
Which is nice.
Keep everything functioning right, but we would appreciate her service. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Rachel, we accept for Sharon. Give her our thanks. Thanks, Rachel. Okay, who's next?
I am. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas exemplary public service employment is vital importance to assuring provision of services directed toward the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of any community. And whereas the Fire Department has upon its roster an individual who should be commended for assisting said department in faithfully serving the citizens of this community. And whereas length of service coupled with continued training, positive attitude toward assigned job tasks makes a profile of this dedicated employee. And whereas the Village of Hoffman Estates, on behalf of its citizens, desires to acknowledge its indebtedness and gratitude for 20 years of dedication and proficiency in the aforementioned department. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the laws of this Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim Saturday, June 1st, 2019, as Daniel Dutchlick Day in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urge all employees and citizens of the village to join us in expressing gratitude and appreciation to this employee who may have assisted them with outstanding service.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. We appreciate Daniel's great service to our outstanding fire department and the great people of Village of Hoffman Estates. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Chief, will you give this to Daniel with our thanks?
All righty. Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Illinois. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees from state and local governments and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the state of Illinois to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest in understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2019 marks the 59th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association / Canadian Public Works Association. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by the virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and the laws of this village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim the week of May 19th to the 25th of 2019 as National Public Works Week in the village of Hoffman Estates, and hereby urge all of our people to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. We have an outstanding Public Works Department, as I think the citizens of this community will attest to. We just got Municipal Clerks Week, and now we got Public Works Week, and it's, both very popular. Both very popular. Yeah, we do, don't we, Bev?
You guys can play the bag game for that.
Yeah.
You can play the bag game to see who wins.
Well, we really appreciate the great services, Gary and Joe and everybody in Public Works. Roger was here earlier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it, motion carried. Joe? Start down there, Joe. Yeah, do the drill. You're getting a picture. Thanks, Joe. We did.
See, that was a test. I'm going to see if he was going to go.
Yeah, tilt the top toward me. There we go. There we go.
Too short.
Ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas there are more than 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Village of Hoffman Estates Police Department, and whereas the members of the law enforcement agency of the Village of Hoffman Estates play an important role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of our community, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of our department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, protecting them against violence or disorder, and protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression and intimidation. And whereas our police department has grown to be a modern and scientific law enforcement agency which unceasingly provides a vital public service. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaim the week of May 12th through May 18th, 2019 as National Police Week in the village of Hoffman Estates, and hereby urge all citizens to join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their communities have established for themselves the rights and security of all citizens.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. We're very proud of our outstanding police department. They do a wonderful job for the citizens of this great community. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Chief?
Congratulations.
This way we're not the shortest people.
He's not blocking the mayor.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more, please. 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you.
Office of the Mayor Proclamation, whereas on average, 650 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the United States, and nearly 76% of these fatalities are caused by drowning, and whereas safe boating begins with preparation. The Coast Guard estimates that human error accounts for 70% of all boating accidents, and that life jackets could prevent more than 85% of boating fatalities. And whereas National Safe Boating Week is observed to bring attention to important life-saving tips for recreational boaters, I think it's so that they can have a safer, more fun experience out on the water throughout the year. And whereas modern life jackets are more comfortable, more attractive, and more wearable than styles of years past and deserve a fresh look by today's boating public. And whereas through basic boating safety procedures, carrying life-saving emergency distress and communications equipment, wearing life jackets, attending safe boating courses, participating in free boat safety checks, and staying sober when navigating, we can help ensure boaters on America's coastal, inland, and offshore waters stay safe throughout the season. Every boater should wear a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket at all times while boating. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of the Village of Hoffman Estates, hereby proclaims May 18th to the 24th, 2019, as Safe Boating Week in the Village of Hoffman Estates, and urges all people to support the goals of the North American Safe Boating Campaign, which is Wear It, during Safe Boating Week and throughout the year by practicing safe boating habits and wearing a life jacket at all times while on a boat.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Could the members of the Fox Valley Sail and Power Squadron come forward? Go by the microphone. Is that microphone on, Mr. Norris? Okay. Your organization does outstanding work, and we appreciate all that you do, and I'd like you to explain to the public that may be watching this on their cable channel, what exactly does your organization do?
We're a boating organization that's dedicated to education, safety, and fun on the water. Again, we'd like to emphasize wearing a PFDs, life vests at all times, and check our organization out if you're interested in boating education.
Okay, you guys can all just identify yourselves for the record.
I'm the commander, Don Prettyman.
I'm the secretary, Sharon Fiddler.
Microphone, please.
I'm the secretary, Sharon Fiddler.
One of the officers. I'm Pete Fiddler. I'm the squadron education officer.
I'm Dee Prettyman, commander's wife.
I'm Mary Merrill, and I'm the District 20 commander.
And I'm Bill Fleming, a member at large.
Well, thank you for all that you do. The chair has a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. Everybody come up and shake hands and let's get a picture.
We fill in on this side just a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Slide some people over down this way, yeah. All right. Got everybody in the shot. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more, please. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Who's next?
Office of the Mayor Proclamation. Whereas May 18th, 2019 is the 9th Kids to Parks Day, organized and launched by the National Park Trust, held annually on the third Saturday in May. And whereas Kids to Park Day empowers kids and encourages families to get outdoors and visit America's parks. And whereas it is important to introduce a new generation to our nation's parks. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat the issues of childhood obesity, diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and this is a good one, hypercholesterolemia.
Good job.
Yeah, I tried my best. And whereas Kids to Park Day is open to all children and adults across the country to encourage a large and diverse group of participants. And whereas Kids to Park Day will broaden children's appreciation for nature and the outdoors. Be it therefore resolved that William D. McLeod, acting under and by virtue of the authority vested in him by the Constitution of the State of Illinois and laws of this village of Hoffman Estates, does hereby proclaim May 18th, 2019 as Kids to Park Day in the village of Hoffman Estates and urges all residents and businesses to make an effort to enjoy the village's local parks and outdoor facilities.
Chair will accept a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. We appreciate the great job that our park district, this is the Hoffman Estates Park District, Gold Medal Award-winning park district, I may add. And the Executive Director, Craig Talsman, is here to, want to come up and say a few words, Craig, a little bit about this, into the microphone, please. Just what this program is, what it's all about.
Elisa Kapuzinski, our Director of Recreation, if I could have her come up here and say a couple of the exciting things we have planned for this Saturday.
Great,
for the village.
looking forward to it.
Hi, I'm Elisa Kapuzinski, Director of Recreation. This Saturday, Kids to Parks Day, we want everyone to come out to the park, so we have 3 different parks that we're offering the event at 3 different spots around town. So West Hoffman is going to be at Black Bear Park, where we're doing the fishing clinic, the disc golf clinic, and then children's games and activities. On the south side of town, same time, 10 o'clock is Victoria Park, where we're doing children's games and activities, and at 9 a.m. prior to that is park cleanup. And then north side of town at Huntington Park, we're doing a park cleanup at 9 a.m., and then 10 o'clock is children's games and activities. So we're trying to do all different areas around town to get everyone in our community out to the parks on Kids to Park Day, this Saturday.
That's great, and the weather's even improved for you.
Yes. No rain is what we hope.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have a motion carried. You want to make the rounds? Another picture.
Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Wait. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Great.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, the chair would accept a motion to recess the village board meeting and go back to the transportation and road improvement meeting, and we'll have our meeting, resume our meeting after the end of the 3 committee meetings. Is there a
So-
motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. We are recessed.
I would like to reconvene the transportation, whoops, sorry.
Changing of the guard. here.
Forgot about the guard change. Set?
I think so.
Okay. Start that over again. I'd like to reconvene the Transportation Road Improvement Committee for May 13th, 2019. Could we have another roll call, please, to approve quorum?
Chairperson Mills,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Stanton,
Present.
Trustee Arnett,
Present.
Trustee Newell,
Present.
Trustee Palafis, Trustee Gata, Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We're all still here. Now, I would look for a motion to approve the minutes of April 8th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any corrections seen? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We also have to approve minutes from April 22nd special meeting.
So moved.
Go ahead.
I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Under old business tonight, we have a discussion of residential parking permit program near Alcoa Lane and Washington Boulevard that we have had on the agenda for quite a while to come back. Mr. Hankey, you want to start?
Thank you. Last August, when this item appeared before the committee, there was a request to bring it back in this May to this committee meeting to review the performance and experience to date with the residential parking permit program. In the assessment of that, we looked back at the last year of enforcement. The program went into effect early in 2018, and enforcement began in mid-April of 2018. Since that time, Finance Department put together a summary by month of the number of citations which have been issued for violations of the permit program, which is included in the agenda item. Not surprisingly, the first several months saw a relatively high frequency of citations issued compared to the last 6 to 9 months, when the average has been more like 2 or so a month. Some months with 0 citations. We also checked with the police department, who reported no significant enforcement issues or complaints they'd received, especially in the most recent months. Same experience from the clerk's office, which administers and distributes the permits. And then there was also discussion last August regarding the fence and gate at the northern end of Washington Boulevard. The code enforcement staff has monitored the area, and there are no reported complaints recently in this area. Steeple Hill has been actively monitoring and maintaining the areas of the fence. So as far as any context we have received in the recent months, that have been none. There were some a while ago. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions up here from the board? Seeing nothing from up here, is anyone in the audience wishing to comment on this? If you would please come forward, give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Nihad Ibrahim Magic. I'm at 460 Alcoa. As stated, the parking's definitely improved. Regarding the fence at Washington, I made several complaints towards vandalism and graffiti along the fence line, street signs, sidewalks. And other than that, there's definitely been an issue. Being a family man, I have a small kid at home, with speeding cars definitely doing a lot more than the posted speed limit sign on Alcoa Lane. And I've made a couple of complaints regarding that. Never really seen any improvement on that whatsoever. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. I would imagine the police are taking note of problems in Alcoa, and they might be doing a little bit more enforcement over there for you. Thank you. Anyone else? Please come up and give us your name and address.
Yeah, my name is Kerry Benora. I'm over at 450 Alcoa Lane. I want to ask a few questions. Why are they still allowing parking over so close to the Spring Mill and Alcoa Line? Those cars are so close to the intersection. They're within 50-foot of the intersection. I think it's dangerous when people are going southbound on Spring Mill and they turn right on the west part of Alcoa, and then you got to avoid them when there's cars on the right side. Why are they allowing parking there when people have driveways right on the intersection? Why is it enforced? Why are they allowed to park there? Should be a no parking sign there within 50-foot of the intersection.
Well, I think there is a regulation regarding.
No, they park right there. I mean, it's so dangerous. You got to go around,
Okay.
you know, and it's wrong. They shouldn't. Or parking by the police station. It's too narrow of a street, and you have to go way over the double yellow line to go across. Why do they allow parking there? They have driveways, right?
We will take that under consideration. We think.
Road is too narrow. They should widen it or take the sidewalk out. Just like I said, it's a hazard. You got to
Well,
go over the
you can't
yellow
take a
line.
sidewalk out because people need a place to walk.
Yeah, but you can't go over the double yellow line and avoid it, and you got to like wait for the other person to pass. It's dangerous.
So what we'll do is we'll ask our transportation engineer, who's sitting right there, to look at the suggestion you've made.
All right,
And for us to change it, an ordinance has to be passed for this placement of the signs in a different location.
Well, I'm sure the officers see it because they pull right out of, I live right behind the police station. It's a hazard, you know?
I heard you say that, yes.
Yeah,
We're going to
okay.
take that under consideration and have it looked at.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Anyone else this evening? Seeing no one else, I think that this problem seems to have adjusted itself through the use of the no parking areas. And we can put this to rest at this point unless someone else has any comments. Okay, thank you for all your work you've done on this, Mr. Hankey, and we appreciate the time and effort on your part. Next item under new business, request authorization to award a contract for Phase 3 engineering services on the Shoe Factory Road I-90 Bicycle and Pedestrian Project to Trans Systems, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois.
Phase 3.
Phase 3. Did I say something different?
No, you did.
Okay. In an amount not to exceed $43,973.55.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Hankey, did you wish to address this?
Just briefly, this is a request to award the contract following a request for qualifications that were released in March. We had 9 responses from engineering firms proposing to do the work, and based upon their proposed approach, experience, and in particular with processing federal aid projects like this, we are recommending Trans Systems receive that contract. This project is on a target for a September 2019 construction letting, and just of note, this is the east-west portion of the project. This is a piece in the Forest Reserve from 59 to just east of the railroad tracks where the path picks up. The north-south piece is still an issue with the railroad, and IDOT has agreed that we can segment the work so that we can try to take advantage of the federal funds, which will expire soon if we don't get to a letting.
We don't want to lose those funds.
No.
Because that's 80% of the project, too,
It
right?
is 80% of the project. The other thing to note is that once there is more certainty about the letting and the costs for the construction portion, we will need to do an intergovernmental agreement with the Forest Preserve District and the Park District to renew that, update it based on the revised schedule and the adjusted costs.
Because they are sharing into the remaining 20%.
Correct.
Great.
The local match is shared among the 3 partners.
Okay. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Under reports for informational purposes only, we have the Transportation Division Monthly Report. And Mr. Hankey, I think you've got some presentations to make before the board?
Yes, it's my honor and privilege to do so. We have a series of awards to share with the village board tonight for the Barrington Road Interchange and Transit Improvement Project. Really due to the leadership of the board, the efforts of the state legislatures in terms of support and funding, numerous hours from our staff, as well as collaborative efforts with IDOT, the Illinois Tollway, and PACE, not to mention the financial assistance from Amita St. Alexius. This project finally is, I will say, complete. There are a few loose ends to tie up, but tonight we have an award, 3 awards to share with you that I have. The first is the American Public Works Association Suburban Branch awarded the project as the, in the category of $25 to $75 million category as their project of the year. The Chicago Metro branch of American Public Works Association then followed on and gave it that same award a couple weeks later. There's also the American Council of Engineering Companies, ACEC, Illinois, which awarded the project an honor award, and then subsequently at that award event, it was recognized as the top project in the state of Illinois as the Grand Conceptor Award. We're very proud of those. I believe the mayor and Trustee Mills have another one up there that maybe they'd like to say something about.
Just show it off, Trustee Mills.
Okay. This is the honor award that we received last week out in Washington, D.C. for presenting to the Village of Hoffman Estates for excellence in engineering design for the Barrington Road at I-90 interchange and park and ride, which was designed by Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley. And the mayor and I were happy to have received this last week out in Washington.
Let's get a picture with everybody. Hope you got the 36 roll of film there.
Mike, you get up here too with all the
Yeah.
awards. Back
Why don't we get down here and just,
Okay.
why don't we go down the floor?
Okay, got it?
Yeah.
That's the only way we can hold everything
Yeah.
and see it.
I know.
Oops.
So I gave it to you.
Is it glass? Is it glass?
Yeah.
Has 2 hands.
Wow, this is the first time we're going down here.
Nobody's standing behind us.
No, you're supposed to be in the middle.
Yeah, you're gonna come over here so I can clearly go down. All right, everybody ready? Go with the award. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more, please. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Well done, Mike. Once you take them to your office, we gotta figure out where to display them.
And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank staff and especially Mr. Hankey for all the hard work and attention that's gone into that project over the years. I don't remember that much gray hair before all this started. So, we do thank you for a great job.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Anything else on Transportation Division monthly report you want to bring up? Okay. And that'll take us to President's report.
I'll wait for the board meeting, Trustee Mills.
Is there anything else to come before this committee this evening? And we no longer have any items in review, so I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call to order the Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee for the Village of Hoffman Estates on this May 13th, 2019. May we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Stanton.
Present.
Vice Chairman Arnett.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis. Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Looking for approval of the minutes of April 8th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Anybody notice any corrections or deletions that need to be made? All right, hearing and seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Minutes are passed, and we go to old business. First is, and only old business, one is discussion regarding status of the proposal to remodel Bergman Farmhouse located at 2150 Algonquin Road. Peter, do you want to tell us what's going on?
As you recall at the last meeting, the potential remodeler of the house was here and had assured us that he would be moving forward, which was why it was scheduled for an update tonight. As of tonight, we still have not seen any activity as far as picking up the building permit, nor has he established the escrow account. I have had a little bit of contact with him, and he had said he was going to do that, but he has not. I've also been in communication with MI Homes, who is still willing to support the village in whatever direction we want to proceed, but they are also asking that hopefully there'll be some decision or action one way or the other regarding the fate of the house. Obviously, everyone was hopeful that this house, the permit would have been picked up by now, but it has not been.
Is Mr. Evans here at all tonight?
No. I am not aware of him being here. I have not seen him.
Okay. Does any members of the board up here have any suggestions? Questions? Fine.
Well, I do have a question. Was there like any damage inside the house from when we had that nice freeze with the 25, 50 below winds? I mean, was there heat on inside, or is that going to have to be repaired too because of the weather that we had?
There has not been any significant damage. There's no water service to the house. MI Homes has been maintaining it. They have because they're still finishing the subdivision, they do have construction crews on site, and they've been keeping an eye on it. So it's generally still in the shape it's been in. So other than just normal continued wear and tear, there's been nothing significant.
Okay.
Yes, Trustee Gale.
Can we make a motion and vote on this tonight?
Of course.
Mr. Norris.
You can make a motion, Trustee Gator, to direct staff to start the proceedings to end the agreement between Evans Realty and the village and M&I Homes. There was a three-party agreement, and then the original development approval with M&I had the steps that would take if no one came forward to remodel, renovate, restore the Bergman farmhouse, which would be, we would direct M&I, after the three-party agreement was null and void, we would direct M&I to demolish the home. They have escrow in place to do it. M&I would demolish the home. They would then deed the property to the village, and then the village would deed the property to the Hoffman Estates Park District. That's all laid out in the original agreements for the property.
So we can't decide tonight for this? We have to again delay this?
Well, the delay would be making sure that we close out the three-party contract correctly. But it would start the wheels in motion to finish things, or the other motion would be to give Mr. Evans more time. Either one are at the discretion of this committee, and then they'll subsequently the board tonight.
Okay.
Mayor, you have something you want to bring up?
Yeah, this thing has strung around for a long time. What I would suggest is our next meeting is what, June 3rd?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We put on the agenda to start the procedures regarding demolition of the Bergman house. It gives them a little more time to try to come up and pick up his permit to get rolling on this, but this is it. I think everybody's patience is just exasperated.
Correct, thank you.
Trustee Mills.
Well, what you're saying is then we should do a motion tonight that we would look into ending the contract.
Right.
Not just put it on the agenda for the next board meeting. We should at least take some action tonight on it and do that. I mean, none of us wanted to have that house demolished to begin with.
Right.
However, we've done our best. We've put it out there for how long now, trying to get something done. We talked to Mr. Evans at the last committee meeting on this, and he gave us his word he was going to do something before this meeting, and needless to say, he hasn't done it, and he's not even showing up tonight. So I think we've done all we can on this. Unless someone were to have come forward wanting to take it over and really show that they can do it, I think it's time for us to just end this agreement.
Peter, last time we were here, Mr. Evans indicated there was a problem with IDOT and getting permission from them. Have you had any contact with IDOT regarding that?
We have not had contact with IDOT. Quite honestly, I don't know that there was necessarily a problem. He had a permit that he needed to obtain. My understanding is a majority of that paperwork had already been done by his engineer, and it was simply a matter of signing something and picking it up from IDOT. There were no issues with IDOT.
Mr. Norris, you have something?
No, I just reiterate what Mr. Gugliotta said. That was nothing more than an excuse to blame his delay on IDOT when he could have begun the work on the home at any time. He didn't need the curb cut because there's already 2 existing. He doesn't need the final curb cut until he puts the garage in.
Okay. Come on up to the mic, sir.
I should make a motion first. Okay.
Please give your name and your address.
Hi, I'm Dave Hammer, Palatine, 408 North Plum Grove Road. And I'm a volunteer for many years with the Palatine Historical Society. And I sure would hate to see that house demolished. I know it doesn't meet our current standards. It doesn't look shiny and white as it used to. And by the way, I meant to say that as a member of the Palatine Historical Society, we are interested in more than just the village of Palatine. We're interested in the entire township, and that house is in the township. I knew Mr. Bergman. And so, although it doesn't meet our standards for a nice-looking house, but it's part of our history. And even if it doesn't have a new coat of paint, it has a value, a historical value. It's something very rare and unique. So I would ask you to please be patient and give that house a chance to exist a little bit longer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Michael, do you have a motion?
Yes, and I agree with Trustee Mills. Why don't we make a motion to put this on the agenda for the next meeting?
Oh, no.
And the board meeting of June 3rd?
Of June 3rd. Do we have to add anything else to that, Mr. Norris?
No, we'll do, as staff, will work with legal to do everything we need to do to make sure that if Mr. Evans hasn't come in to pick up the permit, that by that night, we're ready to unwind everything, so.
And obviously, you're giving him notification of that as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
I will second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and we'll put it over to June 3rd, was it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, new business. Request by BK Equities, contract purchaser, for a courtesy review for the development of a business subdivision located on the plus or minus 53 acres on the north side of Lakewood Boulevard, approximately 1,300 feet east of Barrington Road. Is the petitioner here? Please come forward. Now, would you please give your names and addresses for the record? I guess you might as well put all of them on, since you may all testify in some form or fashion.
David Conweiler, 1070 Westmore Road, Winnetka, Illinois.
Jason Simon, 3721 North Tripp Avenue, Chicago, Illinois.
Suzanne Serino, 139 South Poteet, Inverness, Illinois.
Bill Fossone, 1100 Elmwood, Wilmette, Illinois.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time to hear us tonight.
No, it's
and
not.
Thank you also for the contribution that Peter and Kevin have made to this point with lots of iterations and phone calls and meetings so that we could be prepared to present to you tonight.
Do you understand today that this is going to be just a courtesy review and no action is being taken by the board whatsoever?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Again, we appreciate you taking the time to do that. Again, David Conweiler. For 40 years, I was at Colliers International, which was preceded by Bennett and Conweiler, which was and still is the foremost industrial brokerage real estate company in the Midwest. I retired in December after being CEO for...
They can't hear in the back.
I retired in this past December after 25 years as CEO and did not get a proclamation from anybody. My co-manager of the BK Equities venture is Bill Fossone. I can't point to him or he won't hear me. Bill was president of Colliers for 25 years and retired at the same time. For years, as we led the company, we also were real estate investors and developers. And over that time, our company, BK Equities.
I turned it up. You may not have to hold it anymore. Trust me.
Okay. During that time, Bill and myself acquired or developed in excess of 10 million square feet of industrial property throughout the Midwest area. We're joined here by Suzanne Serino, who has been with our company for over 15 years as an industrial expert, and the majority of her time has been spent in brokerage in the northwest suburbs, and she also has a daughter in school in Hoffman Estates. My partner in this endeavor and also a broker at Colliers International is Jason Simon. As I mentioned, we've opportunistically acquired and developed industrial real estate for over 35 years. We have been very involved in recent years in the northwest suburbs, and in fact, the predecessors of our company developed Elk Grove Village over 50 years ago. So we've always had our eyes on land throughout the northwest suburbs. In the last few years, we acquired land in Elk Grove Village at Arlington Heights Road and I-90, where you now see the Mitsubishi plant along I-90. We also are involved in ownership of the former Motorola campus, now called Veridian, and is one of the large reasons where we have targeted this parcel. As Suzanne will explain, we've seen a need for additional industrial development branching out from the Schaumburg area. So with that, I am going to turn it over to one of you. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know, do you have a screen and you see the agenda?
So we can see it on right here.
Perfect.
But you guys can only see it on your laptop.
Got it. Okay, so those are the things that we are going to cover, and I won't bore you by reading through it. But again, Jason's going to give you an overview of the technology park that we hope to be building.
Hi there. So to orient you, can you hear me okay? Is it working?
Fine.
Great. The 53-acre parcel that we're discussing sits just behind the old AT&T development, which is, of course, going to become the Bellworks project with the Somerset Group. This is just off Lakewood Boulevard. 53 acres. You can see some wetlands running through the middle of that, which we'll bring up in a moment. But we're going to show the aerial and then show the site design and then some conceptual renderings of what we perceive the buildings will end up looking like. And why we love this site is for a variety of reasons, but the residential, the retail, the hospitality, the entertainment that you've developed throughout your community really supports a great business and commerce center at this Barrington Road interchange. And so you've got office, you've got hospitality, entertainment. The one piece that's really missing is brand new industrial product. You of course have buildings that have been designed for individual users fronting this AT&T development. It takes a great deal of capital, great deal of time and effort to plan those buildings, and they are very particular and unique to the user, not so flexible in their design over time. So we love the notion of this access at Barrington Road, also Roselle Road, opening up their four-way interchange, has been a game changer for this whole area and the access for all of the developments between Roselle Road and Barrington Road. And the current zoning is M2. So it's really oftentimes a big ask for a development team to take something through entitlements and change something from what a village perceives it ought to be to what the developer wants. And in this particular case, the current zoning of M2 allows for the type of development that we're seeking on this parcel. So the 53 acres, as we currently have it designed, and we're continuing, along with Kevin and Jim and Peter, have given us some great feedback along the way, to tweak, is roughly a 4-building development, 670,000 square feet, buildings ranging in size from 220,000 square feet down to about 120,000 square feet. The building depths, the design of the parking and the truck terminals and the truck courts is really intentionally designed to avoid 3PL type of uses and really more of your warehousing, research and development, distribution, flex technology type of space. Staff really encouraged us to take a hard look at our approach along Lakewood Boulevard in particular, because it's the southern face, if you will, of Lakewood with Bellworks right across the street. I happen to be the office leasing broker on the Bellworks project, so I'm intimately familiar with it. And keeping a certain look and feel along Lakewood, attracting the right type of users to this development will be very complementary to the Bellworks property across the street. And in fact, some of the design as rendered here, you would find the Eagle Way and crosswalks lining up with the Bellworks project across the street. That whole project, of course, is really, its success will be driven by a lot of its amenities inside the building, and it needs a lot of employees around the development to support those amenities. And so we're really targeting smaller users, not oriented towards major distribution. Truck traffic, we understood, was addressing truck traffic and making sure there wasn't too much was critically important to Peter and Jim and Kevin. And so one moment. Oh, I did want to discuss the screening of truck courts and buffers, which is, we have a ton of green area here. Detention basins, wetlands, as I mentioned. The wetlands, we can't move. Army Corps of Engineers, it is where it is, and we're deciding to design around it. So we'll have walking paths, which is unusual for a, quote, industrial development. This is really a technology park that, again, will flow to the Bellworks project and surrounding areas. This is what we think these buildings will look like. A great deal of glass and a lot of landscaping, and not your typical industrial buildings. An example of what it might look like when done versus rendered is this building right here, and an example of what it won't be is this building right here. This actually happens to be a building that David and Bill have a part ownership of in Batavia, and they're very excited to develop nicer, newer product here in Hoffman Estates.
We're excited too.
Good evening. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the market and other developments in the northwest suburbs. Oh, sorry. So looking at this aerial, as you know, there's been a lot of new development near and around O'Hare. And what this aerial really illustrates is that for some of these users that want to be near but don't want to be in the high rent district or have to be that close to O'Hare, going west along I-90, there really are no options. Your next option is really Elgin, as you'll see on the west side, or south into Hanover Park, into DuPage County. So we think this provides, as you can see, looking at the map, there's kind of a big hole, and we think this is a great opportunity to become the next technology center in the northwest suburbs. Also, so what's sort of driven a lot of the demand, as Jason was saying earlier, and one of the reasons that we really love this location is its proximity to the expanded Barrington four-way interchange and Roselle, because there would be access from both corridors. And additionally, also the amenities coming from O'Hare. Many tenants are looking for access to good hotels, restaurants, and shopping areas, which certainly Barrington Road would provide. So before I move on to, I wanted to talk about and point out some of the tenants that are currently in the market. I did want to point out, my colleague Bill is going to talk about our request for a 6B later, but did want to point out that all of the ones on the buildings you see on the east are all near O'Hare, and they have 6B in place. To the west is Kane County, and to the south, all of those buildings are in DuPage, just to kind of give you an idea of the location of these buildings. These are existing buildings, modern, precast, built within the last 10 years. So just to give you an idea of some of the tenants and users that are currently in the market, looking for new facilities in the I-90 corridor, ranging in size from 30 to 300,000 square feet. They typically, as you know, in and along this corridor are a lot of international, large, high-end manufacturing companies with heavy office and skilled labor. We think it would be a great reciprocal relationship for them to have spectacular access to the airport and also shop in your local restaurants and shops as well. Some of these tenants you'll probably recognize are located here in the northwest suburbs. Some are national or international looking to come into this area for the first time. So I think with that, I will turn it over to Bill.
I'm going to just throw in one comment. Suzanne, as I mentioned, is our leasing broker for the project. Suzanne is a broker to make a living, and she doesn't make a living if this space doesn't get leased. And if the space doesn't get leased, she probably doesn't have a job anymore because we're taking on a huge risk.
Happy day after Mother's Day.
We've worked together for a long time. No pressure. But no, it's Suzanne who, is really encouraging us to build this speculative project because in her efforts in the communities, there's a need to be filled with a high-grade tech-like space here. So I wanted to emphasize that on Suzanne's behalf.
Good evening again. I'm Bill Fossone. Developers build speculative projects when there's a need for them, when you're looking for tenants who can't wait for a build-to-suit. And there's a couple of things with a build-to-suit project. It's generally, it's your own building, but it's a more expensive building, and not every tenant is looking for that. And so we believe that, without a modern, efficient, and attractive product available in Hoffman Estates, prospects will go to other communities that product exists, where that product exists. So we're proposing this as a speculative project, not a build-to-suit project. The prospects will also expect us to have taxes that are commensurate or competitive in the marketplace, which requires us to achieve a 6B and have that in place. And equally important are the lenders and investors understand the competitive nature of the market and would require 6B as well for this to be built on a speculative basis. In Cook County, since 2013, 60 projects totaling 12 million square feet were built, and every one of them has a 6B in place. Other cities in Cook County that are supporting speculative developments with tax 6B classification includes Arlington Heights, Skokie, Niles, Des Plaines, Mount Prospect, Schaumburg, and Elk Grove Village. The new Elk Grove Technology Park, which we're all reading about and hearing a lot about lately, is doing this as well with a speculative project and is supported by both a TIF and a 6B. The project is estimated to generate about $15 million in real estate taxes with a 6B in place during the period of time the 6B would be in place. That information, I think, was provided in your packet. So sort of in summary or in conclusion, we feel that the project fits with the community, with the neighborhood that's there. You've got the Huntington 90 fronting on the other side of the AT&T complex. We've got Funak right next door, and plus the other industrial developments at the interchange there. We think it complements and strengthens the Bell Works project. We see a number of, and I think we supplied some information, a number of tenants, large office tenants who have a large requirement for industrial, R&D, flex, tech, that kind of thing. And we think in combination with Bell Works, we might be able to provide that opportunity for them because they're just an office project. It's an exceptional design. We've got the design that will enhance the building's treatment. We're being respectful of the natural areas, the landscapes, the buffers. We've got a large buffer off of Lakewood. It's 30 feet of landscaping versus 10, which is required in the code. We've got buffers around our neighbors. We've also have a, if you saw earlier on the site plan, we've got some buffers on the east side, and particularly that northeast corner up against where Schaumburg, where South Barrington meets your property. your community's line. In the long-term viability, the spec buildings are more utilitarian in terms of tenants, whereas a build-to-suit is really designed for one tenant. And when that one tenant either gets acquired, outgrows the facility, it's a very difficult facility then to re-let. Who's going to take a building? It's a beautiful building for them, but it's not a beautiful building. It's not highly reusable by the next tenants in the marketplace. So this is designed to accommodate flexibility of tenants, and tenants move in, they move out over time, but it's more utilitarian in its design. And lastly, the number of jobs, this would be projected probably to produce over 500 jobs in this facility, and these facilities when they're all built out, which is a great benefit to all the community, and particularly we think it gives a good shot in the arm to the Bell Works and their amenities. So I'd like to thank you for your time and attention and consideration, and if you've got any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
I have a question. Have you bought this land already?
It's under contract.
Okay. And when are you supposed to close?
Late July.
Thank you. And when would you expect to, if this looks like it's going forward, and it probably is, when would you think that you could start digging and getting a building built?
My guess is we'd probably do site work. I don't know if we'll get into the ground with foundations this fall, but we do site work this fall and get prepped and maybe get into the ground before the foundations in the ground before the winter hits. Otherwise, it'd be spring.
Okay, and it's my understanding that you would start with one building first before you went
We'd
with the other
probably start with
three?
the two front buildings facing onto Lakewood, and that would be phase one, because to do the site work for one, you might as well do it for both. And it's logical to have phase two behind the wetlands area, and that's just another, again, would do both of those at the same time.
Okay. Any other questions up here from the board? Trustee Mills?
I think you covered most of what I was going to ask, too. So this property would be going back on the tax rolls then, now that they purchase it, rather than it being church property?
Yes.
It would.
Absolutely.
All right. And you will own the properties and then lease them out to companies?
Correct.
On a speculative basis? Okay, yeah, I had questions on the phasing, too, how that was going to come in, and if you were just going to build one building or how you were going to work that out.
Yeah, we would start with the two.
Okay. All right, yeah. No, I think that's all I had on that. Thank you.
Okay. Jim, you have something?
Yes, when staff is working with the developers, they wanted a little bit of feedback on the concept of the 6B. We explained that everything in Huntington 90 was granted a 6B, including properties that have yet to be built. But if there was any strong objections to the 6B for this project, we'd ask if anybody on the board had an objection, because we won't do that until they go through the process.
Right.
But they needed to have a read on the committee tonight.
Does anybody here have an objection for 6B? I think most of the projects lately have been 6B.
Anything like this has been, yes.
Right. The only difference is those were build-to-suits, so you knew who your tenant was or your, occupant was.
Correct.
And we won't know that here.
Well, I think everybody understands that.
Okay.
But don't you have to have a certain type of company anyway in order to qualify for this
Yes,
6B?
yes.
So,
Yeah, and it doesn't kick in or become effective until it gets occupied.
Mhm.
But we just needed to make, the assurances that it would qualify you.
It's a
guys
major
would be
part of the
willing to do it.
marketing.
Yep.
Do you have any feelers out there now for any companies that may want to come in?
There's been 2 or 3, inquiries already from people who are looking, RFPs out in the marketplace looking for space. This isn't being marketed yet because we're in the due diligence phase and under contract, but, we are seeing tenants and prospects that would be perfect fits for it if it was, up and going.
Okay.
There's even a few on the list. There's a few on the list you'd recognize, Siemens and Thomas Engineering, as two examples that are currently in Hoffman Estates. Thomas Engineering might be facing having their property taken through eminent domain by IDOT. And then Siemens is looking at a significant downsize from their much larger facility. Both tenants would very much like to stay in Hoffman Estates, but without this type of product in the market, they have to start seeking other neighboring villages for that kind of opportunity.
It's good to know. Go ahead, Karen.
How soon are you ready to get before our plan commission with anything? And I guess that would go
Again, we were
towards-
looking for guidance from you tonight, obviously no commitment, but as explained earlier, our financial sources will not consider this project unless they know we can have a competitive tax situation relative to other markets. So that's why we're here
Well, I
before
think-
you tonight.
I think you've probably seen that from the board this evening, but I would recommend you work with staff diligently to get in as soon as you can.
They have been great to work with and will continue to do that.
Yeah, and I can add on the concept plan discussions we've had, just for the courtesy review, as they've noted, there are several areas where they're actually exceeding the code. There's a great deal of open space on this site, which is not common on many projects that come in the door. So I feel very comfortable that there's a lot of leeway. A lot of the situations where a developer may be trying to squeeze every square foot they possibly can on a site, which can sometimes prolong the process, those issues don't seem to exist in this case. So I would expect that once their plans and their engineering are done, we should be able to move pretty quickly on a staff standpoint.
It's very impressive to look at your plans right now, so thank you.
Thank you for coming forward.
Thank you again.
All right, second on our list for new business is a request by Aldi Incorporated, owner, for approval of a plat of easement for water main at the Aldi grocery store located at 375 West Higgins Road.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Anybody have any comments on that? Or Peter, do you want to tell us what this is?
It's a pretty standard water main easement. The project that was approved and is under construction just had new hydrants that need to be placed on the site, and there was a condition that they come back for the easements prior to occupancy, which obviously they're doing that with this request at this time, so.
Are they almost finished with their?
They should be finished soon, I think in this early summer is what they're looking at.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Sure.
Thank
Come
you.
on up and get on the microphone. And give us your name and address.
Peter Thomas, 1200 North Kirk Road, Tavia, Illinois.
Thank you.
Currently, we're under construction. We're going to shut down tonight, actually, at midnight. Then 5 weeks will be closed and reopen for business. So,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Any questions from anybody up here? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. And we have 3 reports for information only. First is the Planning Division Monthly Report. Any questions on that, anyone up here? That'll be received and filed. Second is Code Enforcement Division Monthly Report. Anybody want to bring anything forward there? No, that'll be received and filed. And third is the Economic Development and Tourism Monthly Report. Want to add anything? I guess not.
He has nothing to add.
Okay. All right, that'll be received and filed. President's report.
I'll wait for the board meeting, trustee Stan.
Thank you. We have nothing in other or items in review, so looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
I'd like to go ahead and call the General Administration and Personnel Committee for the Village of Hoffman Estates for May 13th, 2019. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Arnott.
Present.
Vice Chairman Mills.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis. Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Looking for approval for the approval of minutes for April 8th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody have any questions, additions, deletions? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We have 3 new items under new business. Number 1 is request approval of an ordinance naming director and alternate director to the Northwest Suburban Municipal Joint Action Water Agency.
So
And
moved.
I do have Mayor?
This was mistakenly put with me as the director and Anna as the alternate director. I'd like to reverse that. That was the plan, that she be the director and I'd be the alternate director.
Thank you. We do have the amendment stating that.
Well, there needs to be a motion amending the ordinance that was in the packets, which is the one that was put up at the dais tonight, but there needs to be a motion to amend it.
Can we have the motion to amend?
So move.
I'll make a motion to amend.
The mayor just did. He
Yeah.
needs a
Oh,
second.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes
Now
have
on the
it.
motion itself,
No, okay.
and now on the main to approve
So
the main
moved.
motion.
I made the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 2 is request approval of an ordinance naming director and alternate directors to the Solid Waste Agency of Northern Cook County.
So moved.
Second.
Staff have anything to add, or just, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item number 3, request of approval of an ordinance amending Section 8-2-1, fees of Article 2, license fees, Section 8-3-1, definitions, and Section 8-3-21, license classification of Article 3, alcoholic liquors, and Section 8-5-13, alcoholic beverage manufacturer of Article 5, foods and beverages of Chapter 8, licenses of the Hoffman Estates Municipal Code.
So moved.
Second.
Staff have anything to add? Mark?
Working with Legal Department, Economic Development, Development Services staff, we put together the proposal to amend the liquor code to allow these types uses in an effort to hopefully attract a brew pub or some sort of a distillery, winery, microbrewery, craft brewery, in particular to the entertainment district. So it's something that was kicked around in the past year, and we've put together the language for your consideration.
Anybody else have any questions? Or- Okay, we do have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We will move on to reports for information only. Number 1 is the cable TV monthly report. No corrections or anything to add? Okay, received and filed. Number 2 is the Human Resources Management Monthly Report. Anything? Okay. We were received and filed that one as well. And number 3 is the Legislative Operations and Outreach Monthly Report. Nothing. Okay, we will also receive and file that one as well. President's report, Mr. Mayor?
I'll wait for the board meeting, Trustee Arnett.
Okay. I see nothing in other, no items in review. If we can have a motion for an adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We are adjourned.
Let's take a 5-minute break before we resume the board meeting. To reconvene the board meeting of May 13th, can you call the roll, Madam Clerk, to reestablish the quorum?
Trustee Gata?
Present.
Trustee Arnett?
Present.
Trustee Mills? Present. Trustee Newell?
Present.
Trustee Stanton?
Present.
Mayor McLeod?
Present. We move on to item number 3, recognition of the audience. This is the time if anyone has a question or concern for an item that is not on the agenda. Now's the time to come forward. Going once, twice, 3 times, we'll move on. Chair would accept a motion to approve the minutes of the May 6, 2019 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion to second. Any additions or corrections to these minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carried. 5, consent agenda. Chair would accept a motion.
So moved. Omnibus vote for A through D.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Here's a motion to second. The items on the consent agenda are 1, 5A, approval of the agenda, B, approval of the schedule of bills for May 13th, 2019, in the amount of $3,252,854.24. C, request broad approval of an ordinance granting a special use to Hoffman Village Station, LLC owner and Webker Fitness, Inc., tenant, 2567 West Gulf Road and Hoffman Estates. And D, request board approval of an ordinance granting a master sign plan amendment under Section 9-3-8-M-13 of the zoning code for the property located 2559 Pratum Avenue, Hoffman Estates. There is a motion to second. Any discussion on any of these? Seeing none, can you poll the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye. Motion carried. We'll move back to the President's report. We already did the proclamations. The first item is Sol Smart Brand designation, solar energy. Suzanne Ostrowski, do you have information on this? Oh, you're bringing more hardware.
It's a big plaque.
Yeah, wow.
So the village recently received this Soul Smart Bronze designation. SoulSmart is a points-based designation program that shows that communities are open for business for solar. So it's in support of residential and business solar installations. Want to carry it around? Yeah. The village participated in the SoulSmart program as part of a cohort along with 19 other communities. The cohort was run by the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus. So staff has been working over the past few months to
Nice job of modeling.
to do a couple of things. Yeah, thank you, Vanna. We've been participating in training, and thanks are due to Pete and his staff for their help on this. We did a training for permitting, a training for code, a training for the fire department as well, all about solar energy. And we did a lot of work to document our existing practices. We're actually already very solar friendly, so a lot of this was just, writing up memos to demonstrate what we're already doing. According to the research we've done, we've got almost 100 solar permits that have come in over the past few years, which is more than a lot of the other communities have had. So we're already ahead of the curve on this. This is really just a recognition of our work that we've done in the past. The other big piece of this was establishing a page on our website, so it's Solar Landing Page, so that people who are interested, both residents and businesses, interested in moving forward with a solar installation on their home or business, have a place to start. And that is hoffmanestates.org/solar. So we kept it nice and simple. So people can go there, they can find out what they need to do, where it's a very simple process. We have one permit that we do for all building permits. There's a single permit, and then just a couple of inspections, and so all that information is there for people. So congratulations to the board.
Congratulations to you guys.
Yes, to you also.
Yeah, why not?
Sometimes it doesn't work for me, I use it all the time, so. I like your height. Are you tilting it the way? I am tilting it.
Tilted down? No, I'm joking. Everybody smile. 1, 2, 3. I can even count next to you. 1, 2, 3.
It's a 10, you can be a boxing referee. Very nice. Okay, I do have several announcements to make. This Saturday, May 18th, the Hoffman Estates Park District will celebrate Kids to Park Day. This annual event encourages kids and families to get outside and enjoy the many benefits of our parks have to offer. So get out there at 10 o'clock. There's 3 different parks they mentioned earlier this evening that are having events, one west, one north, and one south. Rookies at 4607 West Higgins Road will host a Wine Wednesday on May 22nd, 5:30 to 7:30. And we always collect non-perishable food items for the local food pantries. And Monday, the 27th, the annual Memorial Day Remembrance Ceremony at the Hoffman Estates Police Department. It's at 10 a.m. We followed by a joint ceremony at St. Peter Lutheran Church at 202 East Schaumburg Road. Weather permitting, the events will be followed by a picnic and bring your lawn chairs. Okay, on Tuesday and Wednesday, as was mentioned, Trustee Mills and Mike Hankey and myself were at the ACEC Awards event. We didn't come home empty-handed, thank God. And on Thursday, the 9th, we had a 4th of July Commission meeting, so firming up all the plans for the 4th of July. And on Friday, the 10th, we had a Mother's Day event honoring the mothers at Alden Poplar Creek that Trustees Stanton and Gata and I went to. And that evening, we had the ribbon cutting for the Hideaway Brew Garden and Bar at the Village Green, the new beer garden. On Saturday, the 11th, I presented innumerable awards at the Kuman Awards Ceremony event held at Elgin High School. And on today, we had Girl Scout Troop 41855 come and visit our offices and the village board, and they took a tour of the building and asked a bunch of really good questions. I think that one young lady is going to end up being governor at some point in time. She really asked a lot of questions, so. That's all I have at this point. Why don't we start with trustee comments? Trustee Gata.
Okay. The Tuesday, May 7th, attended the senior citizens meeting here at Village Hall. And then on Wednesday, the 8th, attended the Mother's Day luncheon put on by the Commission of the Senior Citizens. And wow, they had over 100 people that attended that. And you were missed, Mayor, right? And Trustee Mills, since you were representing all of us. And also that evening, Schaumburg Regional Airport Advisory Committee meeting at the Schaumburg Airport. Then on Friday, the 10th, Mother's Day celebration at Alden Popular Creek Nursing Home at 1545 Barrington Road with the mayor and trustee Gary Stanton. And tonight, I did have an honor, but I missed the Girl Scout troop, right? But other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Arnett.
On Friday, I also attended the ribbon cutting for the Hideaway Beer Garden, and I think that's going to do very well. Congratulations to Ben and Yusuf for doing a good job getting it all ready. And also attended tonight the Girl Scout troop that we had the tour for, and yeah, a couple of those girls are going to go very far with the questions that they asked. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Stanton.
Thank you. I attended the Mother's Day luncheon sponsored by the Commission for Senior Citizens on 5/8/19, and they had pot pies for their luncheon, as well as these, what would they call it, Mike? A boat of cream and custard and some kind of filling, I think, in there too.
Right, with the strawberries, the fresh strawberries that was on there, right? Like a eclair, only without a chocolate topping.
Yeah, it was actually bigger, I think, than an eclair.
Right, and it was delicious.
Trustee Mills and I wouldn't know.
No, you wouldn't. On the 10th, I was able to attend the Mother's Day event at Alden, as Trustee Gata indicated, and the mayor also did. And on the 10th, later in that afternoon, well, I guess it was evening by then, attended the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Hideaway Brew Garden at the Village Green. And today, as well, we attended the tour with the Girl Scout Troop 399. That's it.
Great. Trustee Mills.
As the mayor said, he and I attended the EC Engineering Excellence Awards out in Washington, D.C. We did a quick 25-hour trip back and forth. It was really a fast one, but it was an excellent evening, and I appreciate being able to represent the village with the mayor at that conference. Did make it back in time on the 8th to attend my granddaughter Caitlin's orchestra recital out in Sycamore, so that was very happy to do that. On the 10th, also attended the ribbon cutting for the Hideaway Brew Garden. I think they did a great job fixing that up with the new booths, and I think it'll be a great addition this summer. And tonight, we had the Girl Scout troop, and as they've said, they had some great questions. It was great to be a part of it. That's it.
Thank you. Trustee Newell.
Okay, short and sweet, just one item, and it was on the 11th. I stopped in to see the life stories of A Journey Through Time. I wasn't able to stay for the whole thing, but I did stay for the musical interlude that was done by Charles Torp, and this was put on by Health and Human Services and the Youth Commission. And he was very good, very relaxing. It was worth sitting there. I was like, wow, works for me. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Move on to 6C, Village Manager's Report.
Nothing to add tonight, sir.
6D, Village Clerk's Report.
Of course I have something. Reminding everybody that's Cop on a Rooftop this Friday from 5 until noon. Supports
That's
special.
5 a.m., right?
Yeah. Supports Special Olympics,
That's
and I
first shift,
find it funny, ha ha ha, that it's donuts and it's Cop Week and who'd have thunk? But is it always that way? I'm going to have to ask Bending if it's always during Police Week. I stumped you. Well, I'll ask John. That's it.
Okay. Treasurer's Report.
Village Treasurer has prepared his report for the month of March, and it's ready for your review.
Anybody have any questions on that? If not, it'll be received and filed. Okay, additional business.
Do we need to amend that first one, or?
Yes, the first one we need to amend.
I'll make a motion, we amend 7A as discussed in committee.
Yes, with Anna Newell as the director and myself as the alternate director.
I'll second.
There's a motion, a second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, can you pull the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried.
Then I'll make a motion to approve by omnibus vote 7B through J.
There's a motion for an omnibus vote for B through J.
So moved.
Trustee Mills made the motion.
She made the motion, I seconded it.
No, but we already had done A, yeah.
Okay.
No, what I was asking is H?
Yeah, do we have to talk to
That's a
H?
mistake. The parenthetical should have, when it was, Jenna's pullover, it was cut and paste, and that's how it appeared on the committee agenda, I believe. So that shouldn't be there.
That one will be deleted, so we'll
H is deleted?
take H out and we'll vote.
H deleted? No.
No,
Just
no.
take out
Just the item.
parenthetical.
Yeah, okay.
Just what's in parentheses.
Okay. Should we vote on that separately to make it more? Is it okay?
Not a bad
No?
idea.
All right.
Okay, whatever you want to do. Okay, so B through J, we do have a motion and a second. The items include B, request board approval of an ordinance appointing a director and alternate director to the Solid Waste Agency of the Northern Cook County Swank. C, request board approval of an ordinance amending Section 8-2-1, fees of Article 2, license fees, Section 8-3-1, definitions in Section 8-3-1, license classification of Article 3, alcoholic liquors, and created Section 8-5-13, alcoholic beverage manufacturer of Article 5, foods and beverages of Chapter 8, licenses of the Hoffman Estates Municipal Code. Request board approval of an ordinance granting a special use for MAPT Properties LLC, applicant and contract purchaser at 1260 West Higgins Road. E, request board approval of an ordinance amending Section 8-3-22, number of licenses of Article 3, alcoholic liquors of the Hoffman Estates Municipal Code, increase in number of Class A licenses. React Presents LLC Spring Awakening, 5333 Prairie Stone Parkway, and Prairie Creek Properties, PIN number 01-32-320-047-0000. F, request board approval of a resolution appointing members to standing committees. Request board approval of a resolution appointing a deputy village president. H, request board authorization to distribute $2,508,660.33 from the 2017 tax levy year EDA special tax allocation fund to Sears Roebuck and Company pursuant to bankruptcy court order dated May 6, 2019. I, request board approval of a request by Aldi Inc. for a plat of easement for water main at the Aldi grocery store located at 375 West Higgins Road. J, request board authorization to award contract for Phase 3 engineering services on the Shoe Factory Road I-90 bicycle and pedestrian project to Transsystems Inc., Schaumburg, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $43,973.55. We do have a motion for an omnibus vote between items B and J. We'll vote on the omnibus vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it.
I'll make the
Okay.
motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion to approve items 7B through J. Any questions on any of these? Seeing none, can you poll the board, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Gata?
Aye.
Trustee Arnett?
Aye.
Trustee Mills?
Aye.
Trustee Newell?
Aye.
Trustee Stanton?
Aye.
Mayor McLeod?
Aye, motion carried. Chair would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second. Any questions on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned.